Hello! Thank you for being in a new video. This time we have a boxing of the Galaxy M54 5G. Let's get started. From the box, Samsung gives us an idea of what this device will look like, and it also gives us an idea that there will be little content inside it. This is a trend that Samsung has been taking lately, reducing the added components in this box to the bare minimum. But anyway, let's open it up and see what we find. Straight up, here comes the mobile device. And these are the three features that Samsung highlights the most about this device. For starters, we have a Super AMOLED Plus display. That's what Samsung has decided to call this generation. We also have three cameras. The main one with 108 megapixels and optical stabilization. I think that's a very important point. And finally, the 6000 milliamp battery. So, definitely, these three features I would also consider as one of the strongest points of this device. However, I was forgetting to tell you about its price. In Mexico, it was launched for 9,999 pesos. On the screen, you have the reference price in dollars to give you an idea. Although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. With that price, its most direct competitor will undoubtedly be the Galaxy A54. So this could be a battle between the M series and the A series. In a moment, I'll tell you about their differences, but for now, let's keep uncovering the phone. Here I've already got my hands on the device. Let's turn it on and see if anything else comes in the box. For starters, we have a little Samsung Care Plus information sheet. An insurance policy that you can purchase so that in the event of damage to your device, it won't be so expensive to repair. And basically that's all that's on this side of the box. However, on the other side we will also find a small envelope or special box where we find the key to remove the tray. And we will also find quick information slips and finally the cable that goes from USB-C to USB-C in a white tone. It should be noted that it does not include a charger, much less does it include a case, and much less does it include headphones. So, we're looking at an extremely simple box. But so that the unboxing isn't over so quickly, in a moment I'll tell you about the specs of this device and how it stacks up against its sibling, the Galaxy A54 5G. Let me set it up and get back to you. And here I have already configured the device so we can know it a little more in depth. We are going to find a weight of 199 grams that are not bad at all and a thickness of 8.4 millimeters approximately. Its construction is with plastic frames and the back cover is also plastic. In fact, this will be one of the main differences against the Galaxy A54. I think the Galaxy A54 5G looks a bit more premium. In fact, the lid doesn't feel as loose. The lid on the M series device, I feel like it even gets a little bit saggy when I press it, as you notice. On the other hand, the cover of the Galaxy A54 is much more rigid, although it can become a little deformed. Similarly, the frames have a different finish, although in both cases it is plastic. But the Galaxy A54 seems to have a much nicer look. Another difference you may notice is that the M series device has a side fingerprint reader. In addition to the fact that its button makes quite a bit of noise when you press it. On the other hand, the Galaxy A54 has a much quieter button and in-display fingerprint reader. The screen of this device is 6.7 inches in its diagonal with full HD Plus resolution and 120 Hz in its refresh rate. However, here comes another of the differences with respect to the A series device. Because in this case, we can only set the refresh rate to a high or standard setting. It does not have an automatic setting unlike its sibling, so this screen could end up consuming a bit more power. However, here we see 6000 milliamps, while in the A series device we see 5000 milliamps. So, the battery is a very important difference. The front camera is 32 megapixels and on the back we find 108 megapixel main camera, then an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera and finally a 2 megapixel macro camera. Let's take a quick first impressions look at these cameras because the front camera, as you notice before you capture the picture, it doesn't look very good. But after you take the picture, notice how well balanced the highlight area and the shadow area is. There is no area that looks overexposed, so I think the quality of the selfies will be considerably good. This is a 108 megapixel picture, and let me tell you that it does take advantage of all the information from this sensor. The truth is that this picture looks super detailed, so it can be a very strong point of this device for those who are looking for a camera with a very high resolution in conjunction with the good specifications that comes with this device. This is another 108 megapixel picture, just so you can see the quality of the zoom you could get by cropping this picture, but it also has a good digital zoom from my point of view, which goes up to 10x. Obviously, you can tell it's digital zoom, but it's not bad at all. It also takes very good portrait photography. As you can see, we have very good foreground detection so that the background is completely out of focus, and also the blur is applied gradually, so what's closer and at the same distance from the foreground is still in focus, and then it's blurring little by little. So the portraits really come out very well. This is a picture with the main camera, and now with the ultra-wide camera, so you can see the difference. It looks like it is very good at capturing more information, and it looks good enough quality. Finally, this is a picture with the main camera using the 108 megapixel mode, so you can see all the detail that we could achieve in a macro capture, since the main camera does allow you to adjust its focus. This would be the result applying 2x digital zoom with the main camera, and this would be the result with the macro camera, which is not a bad camera because it does give us good color and good detail. However, I think there is not much difference with respect to the result that the main camera gives us, so I feel that it is not so useful. It just gives us a much more uniform focus. So, not bad. Notice that this device can indeed record video in 4K, and even with the front camera, that resolution is also available. Now let's look at the storage we have available when we first take the device out of the box after we've updated the apps and even some of the system. It has 128 gigabytes and 22% is already used. The truth is that it is a very large number that is already used. This is one of the weakest points of Samsung, which although they offer you many options through software and various tools, the downside of all this is that the internal storage consumed is too high. Also, even though 128 gigabytes is not a bad figure, I think there are already more and more competitors starting to put in 256 gigabytes from this price range. So, this feels like its weakest points without ever being completely bad, but other manufacturers are doing spectacular things here. One thing I like is that in this case it doesn't come with added bloatware, it just comes pre-installed with TikTok, Spotify and Netflix, which are apps that Samsung has a partnership with, but they really aren't that many junk apps and are generally very common apps that more users are going to use as well. By the way, I was forgetting to also compare this section with the Galaxy A54. Which has lower resolution camera, although it is good camera anyway, but it seems that in this M series device we will have higher resolution. Remember also that the Galaxy A54 does have water and dust resistance, something that this device does not integrate. And already, finally, we have exactly the same processor in both devices. It is the Exynos 1380, a processor that I honestly do not like so much, especially for games, because the applications can run them, I think, without too much complication. But anyway, I'm running a benchmark to see the score that gives us and see if there is any difference to have more size this device. Maybe it can be cooled better and can give us a higher score, but we don't know. Let's wait and come back. We already have the results here. As you can see, in both cases the results are very similar and speak of a very good processor in terms of power. Here the detail is that in some games the processor is still not very well optimized, or at least it was not so optimized when I tested the Galaxy A54, but it will also be a good exercise to see if over time this processor has been optimized to support higher quality graphics and other details. I'll tell you about that in the review. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can let us know, and we'll see you next time.